Liam, 16, had always dreamed of living in a bigger house. Today, that dream had finally come true. The sun was just rising over the quiet suburban street as Liam and his little sister Sophia, 14, stepped out of the car, their parents following with boxes in hand. The house loomed before them, elegant but slightly old, every brick and window whispering secrets of the past. Liam's heart raced with excitement as he imagined all the adventures waiting inside, while Sophia ran ahead, her laughter filling the air with lightness. But somewhere in the corner of the living room, hidden in shadows, a basement door waited silently, almost as if it were alive, almost as if it were watching them. As they entered the house, Liam's eyes were drawn to a small note taped to the basement door. He walked closer, curiosity overpowering caution. The note read, "Never open the basement." His pulse quickened. Sophia peeked nervously from behind him, small fingers clutching the edge of his hoodie. Why would anyone leave such a warning? And why did the basement feel so foreboding? Liam shook off the unease, telling himself it was just a silly warning left by the previous owners, but the words lingered in his mind. Unable to resist, Liam began to explore the house. He moved slowly through the living room, stepping over boxes and careful not to disturb the dust that had settled on the furniture. Sophia followed, eyes wide as she took in the high ceilings, the antique shelves, and the old photographs on the walls. Their parents busied themselves, arranging boxes and smiling, unaware of the tension quietly building in Liam's chest. Every glance at the basement door sent a shiver down his spine. Something about it felt wrong, but he couldn't explain why. As dusk approached, curiosity turned into action. Liam approached the basement door, flashlight in hand, each step measured and cautious. Sophia stopped, worry etched across her face. "Liam, maybe we shouldn't," she whispered, voice trembling. He paused for a moment, staring at the darkness beyond the door, feeling a chill creep down his spine. But his curiosity pushed him forward. He cracked the door open just enough to let a thin sliver of light fall into the dark stairwell. Shadows stretched along the walls like dark fingers reaching out for him. The old wooden stairs creaked under his weight, each sound echoing loudly in the still house. Dust particles floated in the golden light from upstairs, and the air smelled old, heavy, and strangely cold. Stepping down cautiously, Liam's eyes fell upon a large mirror at the end of the basement. What he saw made his blood run cold. It wasn't just his reflection, it was him, but slightly older, with a smirk curling across his lips. The reflection stared at him, alive and unnervingly aware. Sophia peeked nervously from the top of the stairs, small body tense, eyes locked on the mirror. Shadows danced across the walls, lengthening unnaturally as the dim light from the mirror seemed to pulse softly. Liam's curiosity battled with fear, but he couldn't look away. Sophia, gathering courage despite her fear, stepped down the stairs. Liam grabbed her hand tightly. "Stay close," he whispered. The basement felt colder now, the shadows deeper, and the silence heavier, pressing against their ears. Every step they took echoed like a warning. Together, they stared at the mirror, unsure if the image before them was real or a trick of the light. Then it moved. The reflection twisted and shifted independently, lips curling into a whisper, "You shouldn't be here." Liam froze, heart pounding in his chest. Sophia's small hand trembled in his grip. The air around the mirror seemed to vibrate, charged with something unexplainable. Each shadow stretched unnaturally, crawling across the walls like living things. Liam felt an icy shiver run through him. They were not alone. Not by a long shot. Panic surged. Liam grabbed Sophia's hand and bolted up the stairs, the wooden steps groaning under their weight. The basement seemed to stretch endlessly as if resisting their escape. Behind them, the presence of the mirror version of Liam followed, moving with impossible speed, a perfect mimic of his own movements, but stronger, more relentless. Dust swirled in the dim light above, shadows chasing them as adrenaline burned in their chests. Finally, they burst into the living room, panting, their small forms trembling with relief. The basement door slammed shut behind them, as though pushed by an unseen hand. Breathless, they collapsed onto the living room floor. Mom and Dad rushed over, concern etched across their faces. "Are you okay?" Mom asked, her voice trembling slightly. Liam nodded, eyes still fixed on the basement door. And then he saw it. Through the slight reflection in a nearby window, another Liam stared back at him, smiling knowingly, as if he had been waiting and as if he knew things Liam did not. The house seemed calm now, almost normal, but Liam knew it wasn't. The basement and the version of himself that lingered within it were still there, watching, waiting, and he knew, deep in his heart, that this story was far from over.